Hi guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Today we're gonna take a look at Mercury retrograde in the sign of Leo. Now, I guess a few of you might have noticed that I've been postponing my videos, and there's a reason for that. Saturn has been going retrograde in my sign. I've been dealing with some issues with an ear infection, with my jaw that's now infected. And all of this happened after I visited the dentist. So yeah, I've been struggling a bit health-wise. So if I'm not my most enthusiastic selves, as you're used, then yeah, maybe that's the reason. So, okay. With that being said, we're gonna take a deep dive in Mercury retrograde. And yeah, in the sign of Leo, very fiery, very feisty. Leo likes to roar big time, and with the Mercury retrograde in that, ooh, wow, it's gonna create some drama for sure. But if you have a heads up and you know what's going on with all the energy, you might guard yourself against that. So, hi, Kati from Charlotte, USA. And hey, Inge, so glad you're all here today. So, yeah, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you already subscribed, thank you so much for being a part of this beautiful community. I really, really want to thank you and express my gratitude for all your support. So, let's take a dive into the presentation for today. So Mercury stations retrograde actually within 2 days for the USA, and actually the 18th, a day later for Europe. So it's gonna go from 15 degrees of Leo to 4 degrees of Leo. So if you have something important within those degrees, then you're like in the direct line of fire. So yeah, to all my dear Leos, there's like a very, very big reassessing that's gonna happen in the next 3 weeks, actually all the way up until the end of August. So Leo rules the heart, it rules children, it rules being on stage, it's about your passions, your hobby, and it's also about owning your presence and sharing your creative juices, and also about speaking from authenticity. So think about love, children, dating, flirting, having fun, joy, radiating warmth, having fun, making jokes. This is all part of Leo. That's why I love Leos so much. But Leo is also about pride and arrogance. And if Leo is not well balanced, it can really roar and it can really act from a place of ego. So we need to be careful for that, because now we're all going to partake into this energy in the next few weeks. So yeah, it's about art, leadership, it's about storytelling. Leo really thrives on being seen and heard. Validation is very, very important for Leos. Then another important part is also your identity. Leo is about knowing who you are and also being unapologetic about it. Leo rules the ego in its highest form. So, and not as arrogance, but more as self-definition. That's also Leo. So the keyword is really personal rebranding. Normally it's personal branding, but because it's Mercury retrograde, it's about personal rebranding. It's a good use of the energy for that. And it's also about confidence and also purpose. So Leo also rules the heart. Leo is ruled by the sun and it governs the heart chakra. So yeah, in its purest essence, Leo is about love and passion and generosity, and also the courage to lead with feeling. Like Leos have a lot of balls. I really admire that in Leos. And when a Leo is fully aligned and balanced, it really radiates a lot of warmth, and also it likes to inspire others. And Leos, they are the king of the jungle. When they walk into a room, everyone notices them, and some people can get quite intimidated by that. That's why some people are a bit jealous of Leo, because they are so unapologetically themselves, and they have such a strength and such a defined character. And yeah, they are actually a lot of fun. They are like the heart of the party. Whenever a Leo comes in, that is like fun guaranteed. So but this retrograde, it really puts a lot of it puts all the spotlights on self-expression, on ego, on drama, on leadership, and also personal creativity and your hobbies and the things that you're passionate about. Like actually, Leo is about what makes your heart sing, and it's also about your inner child, because Leo also rules children. So hey Hannah, thank you for showing up and taking care of your health. Yeah, Hannah, you know what's up, right? It will get better soon. I stay positive. And Katie, thank you so much. Sending love back to you. So, if we then look at what is a Mercury retrograde, because let's be honest, astrology has become very, very popular these days. And if you look at the mainstream astrology, you would almost believe that whenever there's Mercury retrograde, the world is about to end. But let me tell you, that's not the case. Mercury goes retrograde 3 times a year. Like, you've made it this far with all the Mercury retrogrades. So don't panic. It is just a time of turning inward and reconnecting, now with Leo, now with your heart. So also, a Mercury retrograde is actually an optical illusion. So it happens 3 times a year, that it moves backwards from our point of view. It is actually not. It is not actually going backward, but it's just appearing to. It's from our vantage point. So. Mercury, of course, rules communication, thinking, logic, technology, transportation, contracts, and trades. These are all Mercury things. And Mercury is actually our mind. It's also how we speak, how we write, how we communicate. And it's also being on the road. Mercury rules vehicles and transportations, as I just mentioned. And when it goes retrograde, Mercury is actually closest towards Earth. So that is when we can have too much of Mercury going on. So all the domains that I've just mentioned can get a little bit disrupted, can get a little bit distorted, or things get slowed down. So during these 3 weeks of the actual retrograde phase, there is always a lot of rescheduling, a lot of appointments that get canceled, or you order a mail and it gets lost in, you order a package and it gets lost in the mail, or like you've just heard me like confusing words. That is all part of Mercury. And of course, I'm a Virgo rising. Mercury rules my chart. So for all Geminis and Virgos, you're always mostly affected by this, because Mercury is your chart ruler. So yeah, think about, maybe you send an email to someone and it gets lost in the cloud. Strange things do tend to happen whenever we have a Mercury retrograde. So it always likes to, Mercury is like a little bit mischievous. It likes to fool people, or play tricks on the mind as well. So don't get scared or don't panic whenever something doesn't get delivered in time, or it's gonna take more time during this time frame anyway. So if I'm doing it like this, yes. So also whenever you travel, you can get a little bit delays. Funny story, I was texting a very good friend of mine, and she is a Leo, and she's like, oh, well, I'm about to board on the plane. And I was like, well, there is a Mercury retrograde happening in your sign. There can be a little bit of a delay. And she was like, no, it's fine. We're going to board soon. And whenever she entered the plane, she needed to wait for an hour. And I was like, that's Mercury. So Leos are going to be more affected by this retrograde, and also Virgos and Geminis, of course. So use this time to revise, to reflect, and to reconnect. This is not a time to launch anything, not a time to sign contracts or finalize something. It's actually, you can think of it as the mind turning inward. And things that were previously clear can become a little bit confused, delayed, or misunderstood. Misunderstandings are very, very common during a Mercury retrograde. And it is like entering the temple of our mind, where we are asked to actually meet with our unspoken thoughts. There's a cosmic pause asking us to really retrace our mental steps inside. So let's look at the pros and cons of this retrograde. So very, very perfect and very good time to look at creative rebirth. Revise old creative passion projects. They can get infused with new inspiration. And it's also a good time to refine your own personal style, especially if you're a Leo, but wait with like adding changes whenever the Mercury retrograde is over. That's going to be a better time. Do not change your hairstyle or your clothes or anything like that while it's Mercury, because you're probably going to change your mind anyway after. So but if you have like a brand or an own business and you want to like rebrand, that is very, very good time to do this. Also for re-editing, for finishing writing projects, or if you're in the music industry, to look at old songs and maybe reignite the spark or add something into that that makes it more feisty, more Leo-like. Another big factor is also whenever there's Mercury retro, you always tend to bump into people from the past. It's very, very famous amongst the astrology community to bump into exes from the past, old friends in your neighborhood. Maybe you can bump into them in the store, or while you're doing groceries, or like your daily business. And it's like things from the past that maybe need closure. And if I know a lot of girls sometimes wait for a Mercury retrograde to be able to bump into their ex. And if you don't bump into your ex while there's a Mercury retrograde, well, consider that karmic cycle to be finished and closed off. And that's actually maybe a very good sign. But because you bump into things from the past, it can also reconnect you to the childhood passions, and also past romantic sparks, of course, can be reignited. But that's not going to be the case for everyone. But I'm going to walk you through each of the 12 signs, and I'm going to highlight the signs that can reconnect with an ex later in this video. Then rebranding, as I already mentioned, and if you had a misunderstanding, it's actually a good time to clear the air. And then the cons, or the things that are not going to go as smoothly, because it's in the sign of Leo. There's going to be ego clashes. There can be overconfidence. Pride and drama can really distort communication right now. And we're going to see a lot of inflated egos that may collapse under criticism, or people that are going to feel exposed. And it can definitely trigger old insecurities about visibility, about being on stage, about your own talents, about your leadership role. People can start to doubt themselves. And that happens for a reason. It's so that they can like relook at the past decisions and how they can maybe be a better leader in the future. So if you feel a little bit unsure, just know that it's the current energy and that it's normal. Of course, we also have tech, travel, glitches, delays, cancellations, reschedulings, problems with emails. And I think now the tech glitches that we're about to witness are going to be in the creative tools or in the creative sector. Think about maybe Photoshop, editing software, or software for music. Anything in the creative field might be affected with this energy. And Leo also rules speculative investments, taking risks with money. So we're going to see a lot of stock market volatility. Crypto is going to swing up and down like a yo-yo. And there can be some problems with impulsive, risky investments. This is not financial advice, but it does tend to happen during this time. And the retrograde, either way, is very bad, a bad timing for launching businesses or buying a new car or signing any sort of deal. So yeah, if you need to really sign something during this time, read the little letters, be very, very mindful of what you sign, because all contracts that get finalized right now might need some revisiting later. Especially by the end of August into September. So if you sign something impulsively right now, you might regret that in September. So be mindful of that. Another thing is, of course, Mercury is about speaking, and with Uranus just entering Gemini, also the sign of media. Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of media firestorms, where I'm gonna get into that later in this video. But yeah, media narratives are definitely gonna twist or provoke some public outrage. Don't fall for it. A lot of people will be roaring, but you just think for yourself, is it really necessary to do that right now? So, and hi, Becca. Emerald Pat says, what do the retrograde planets do with the time of clearing up old misunderstandings or conflicts? Yeah, well, actually, Mercury retrograde is a very good timing to clear up old misunderstandings. So it's very, very likely that you're going to bump into the person that you want to clear the air with, and that it just happens naturally. So you both can move on or reconnect together again. So yeah, it's very, very, a lot of people tend to freak out, especially over the internet, over a Mercury retro. But in my personal, yeah, story, I've always had some kind of breakthrough or some kind of, yeah, really good thing that happened to me with the Mercury retrograde. It tends to give solutions and clarity at the end of each retrograde. So it's a very, very good time, actually. So let's look at the chart. So yeah, revisit old projects, creative projects, art, music, redefine your voice. Mercury is about speaking, Leo is about being unapologetically yourself, and also confront unresolved themes about romance, about pride. If you need to perform, you can like add something in that, because Leo has a very big flair for theater, and yeah, expect in the collective very bold and impulsive communications coming forth. And we're gonna see some spectacular public meltdowns or some media controversies that are gonna be very, very interesting to look at. And Mercury, yeah, this retrograde and a fixed sign of Leo, and this fixed fire sign, so the breakdowns are going to be especially heated in this fire sign. So good to maybe back up your files, review messages twice, look at who you're sending an email to. This is like the moment to have an awkward mental breakdown, because you've just you just saw yourself sending an email with some very, very, yeah, how do I say it, very, very and information that's very, very sensitive to the wrong person. That is like yeah, can be awkward things happening with emails and phone calls. And also, yeah, be mindful to have conversations with humility, and that and that it's not from pride. So pride needs to be toned down a bit during this time. And if we then look at the Sabian symbol for this Mercury retrograde, it is actually very beautiful, and I'm actually so happy to share a positive note on this, because the Sabian symbol for 16 degrees of Leo, we always round up 1 degree. It is this time sunshine after a storm. So thank God for that. The keyword here is actually recovery. It's about emotional renewal. It's about healing after the chaos, like all these retrogrades we've already been through since December until actually April this year. It's all been retrograde after retrograde after retrograde, and right now almost all the planets are retrograde. So yeah, big time of going inward to look at where we've grown from December until May, and what still needs to be revisited in that. 2025 is a year of completion and endings. So again, we get a time window where we can look at that. So yeah, it's actually, yeah, this symbol speaks about finding clarity after disorientation. We are actually emerging from months of disruption, especially in the areas of our self-worth and our emotional resilience. It really got tested with the Mars retro and the opposition to Pluto. Now this Mercury retrograde is going to make an opposition with Pluto, so it can be quite intense, especially in August. But the Sabian symbol really implies that the storms, literal and symbolic, are here to clear the air. and it's now time to rebuild after the retrograde. So yeah, this can be like one final storm, and then the degree is also, it has been mirrored in global weather events. We've seen horrible things happening in Texas, so flooding and a lot of loss. And it's really this Sabian symbol is inviting us to find the silver lining and focus on creative recovery together with our community and with our like-minded people as well. So yeah, the storm acts as a necessary disruption, unless it's geoengineered, of course, but that's a whole other story. But storms can really symbolize corrections that sweep away illusions and sweep away stagnant patterns and a false sense of pride. It's all going to get washed away with this Sabian symbol. So they are all moments of soul disturbance, and what was hidden is suddenly going to get exposed, especially when Mercury is going to opposite Pluto later. So yeah, the storm is actually very mental right now because it is Mercury, the planet of the mind. It's about misunderstandings, ego collapse, and also faltering a false sense of identity. And the storm isn't a punishment, it is actually a purification, and it removes us what no longer serves us. So it's actually preparing the heart, Leo, to gain clarity again after this period. So the storm is not only chaos, it is very cleansing, very healing, and it is very, very fierce and compassionate in nature, and it's demanding that we actually see clearly again after some confusion, especially with the Neptune retrograde that started on the 4th of this month of July. So yeah, the sunshine that follows, it is not just brightness, it is also, in this case, awareness. It represents the illuminated mind and also the clarity that comes only after the veil has been lifted. And you can ask yourselves during this time, what remains when my pride is stripped away? And also, who am I when I'm no longer performing, Leo? And sunshine really represents the soul to return to its center. And it's actually the triumph of truth over illusion and of turning into our heart and transcending our ego. That is the big message of the next 3-week period that is about to come. And hey, Arno, and hey, Kati, and Arno, thank you so much for supporting me. All that hard work needs some compensation. Thank you so much, Arno. Thank you. Okay, let's go back to the chart. So the most affected signs are, of course, Gemini and Virgo. Mercury is your chart ruler, and especially the Gemini and Virgo risings. And anyone who has placements between 4 and 16 degrees of the fixed signs, which are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So for all these individuals, life is going to get louder, but it's also going to be more revealing, and you're going to gain some kind of clarity or some kind of, when you feel you're in the mist by the end of this retrograde, the mist and the fog can really lift, and you can have like a whole new understanding. So it's actually also a test of authentic expression versus this inflated ego. So on a collective level, we need to watch for these arguments, for ego bruises. And also a lot of people are going to be called out for hypocrisy and also for manipulation with the opposition to Pluto. So yeah, what makes you feel alive? And maybe don't blame other people, just look into the mirror, look at yourself, at where your pride has maybe sometimes gone too far. It is possible for everyone. And this retrograde really offers a reconnection to our inner child and the power of being genuine and having this heartfelt expression. A lot of people are going to be saying things that they have been holding back for a very long time. And I think that can be quite revealing. You can feel quite relieved, and it can give you some much needed answers that you have been waiting for a very, very long time. And thank you so much, Colin, for your support and your super chat. I'm a Virgo rising, and life is getting very loud. I also have a very inflated ego, Colin. That is like so funny. Because yeah, everyone sometimes has an inflated ego. If you run into some kind of trigger that yeah really gets you off, then that's actually normal, but it's actually very good that you have this understanding and awareness about yourself. That in itself is actually very, very positive. Not a lot of people can really not a lot of people can say they have an inflated ego. So I'm laughing out loud as well. Thank you so much, Colin, and I wish you good luck. And also, because you're a Virgo rising, watch your health a little bit more, especially in the next 2 weeks. Mars is going to conjunct the South Node, and it's going to probably happen on your rising as well. The same for me. So that's a time when, old inflammation from the past can like resurface. So it's and Hannah just says ready for purification, and actually yeah, this purification as well, and especially for Virgo risings with Mars on the South Node as well. So let's look at the next chart. Like Colin, if you're like allergic to anything, or if you don't react well to certain foods, I would not be eating them right now. So the next one is Mars South Node. So yeah, what a beautiful connection of it. I was just talking about that. So that is actually a red flag transit. I'm just going to put it out there. It is what it is. From July the 18th until the 22nd, Mars, the god of war, meets a very karmic release point, the South Node, really suggesting a lot of conflict, a lot of military tension, and also on the positive side, because the South Node is a point of big release, it can be a withdrawal from past battles. So we're going to need to look how this plays out. But it's squaring Venus. The cosmic lovers are in a square as well. Venus in the sign of Gemini can be about media, can be about tech, can be about AI as well. I think a lot of people are going to lose their job because it's in the sign of Virgo. Virgo rules the service industry, our day-to-day activities. When Mars conjuncts the South Node, there's always some kind of big heated battle, big release, or a big layoff, because it's in the sign of Virgo. So leaders are going to be very much tested, because Leo is a sign of leadership. There are some very important leaders who have planets or sun sign or moon and Leo that are going to be very much affected by this. So it's about how they communicate on a military level. It's also about diplomatic decisions from the past that needs to be revised. Mercury in Rio, really, it reflects a very dramatic leader. And the retrograde is going to expose flawed logic, ego tactics, or some contradictory statements. And if you look at which leaders are going to be very much affected by this is going to be Zelensky and Trump. They're going to be very, very much featured in a very prominent way in this cycle and in the headlines, because for 15 degrees of Leo, 15 degrees of Leo is a critical Gemini degree. It's in the middle of the sign, so 15 degrees is a Gemini degree. Trump is a Gemini. Trump is a Leo rising, has Mars in Leo as well. And then we have Zelensky, and Zelensky is a Gemini rising. So there are some leaders that are going to be very much affected by this. We're going to see shifts in war narratives. We're going to see sudden military strategies that are going to be reversed or revised. And we're gonna see some foreign policy shocks as well. And the Mercury-Pluto tension is really gonna emphasize these hidden motives, this abuse of power, manipulation in the media, and also perhaps maybe a turning point in the Ukraine conflict, or some other wars that are going on right now. On a collective health level, because Virgo is of course also the sign of our physical health. On the opposite side of the wheel, we have Pisces, that is our mental health, but Virgo is our physical health. So Leo rules the heart. Mercury is about things from the past. And because Mercury disposits Mars, because Mercury rules the sign of Virgo, so Mercury has control over whatever happens into Virgo right now. And what happens with Mars conjunct the South Node isn't a positive thing. And Mercury is going to go in a position with Pluto, the planet of death, rebirth, abuse, manipulation. My personal guess is, and I do not want to manifest it, it's just what I notice in the charts, is that we're going to see some kind of revelation or truth about why so many people are currently dying of a stroke, dying of a heart attack. We can even see an increase in such matters. And this morning I was reading the newspapers, and there's a 13-year-old girl that died of a heart attack here in Belgium. And I was like, oh my God, we're going to see so much getting revealed about that, so much truth in media. I even think the Telegraph, mainstream media platform, has posted some truth about the procedures in relation to the medical field of 5 years ago. And yeah, Mars is inflammation. Virgo is health. Mercury opposite Pluto, intense news. Mars and the South Node is a release. Things from the past catching up to be released. And yeah, I think, yeah, we're going to see more news of that coming out for sure. So yeah, the best thing you can do is find a way to detox the spike proteins, even if you didn't have the medical procedure 5 years ago. I still need to detox from the spike protein because it's jumping from human to human. And yeah, Mars conjunct the South Node is inflammation from the past in regards to our health that is going to be triggered in a massive way. So yeah, detox. And that is a positive thing. If you reverse the energy, because energies can always go both ways, then it's actually a perfect time to detox right now, to let go of the inflammation from the past, but you're going to need to work hard for it, so it doesn't catch up with you. I'm constantly detoxing from all the what they're spraying in our sky, and we're going to see a lot of revelations about that as well in the mainstream media, because now Uranus is in Gemini. Uranus is Lord of the sky. Gemini, air, Uranus, air. What's been going on with our air, truth being revealed. Uranus tends to bring more awareness about these facts. So even if you live a very healthy lifestyle, you still need to, put the focus on detox, especially with all the eclipses that are happening in the sign of Pisces and Virgo. It is the health axis. I have been warning for that since last fall for the Northern Hemisphere. And even I know that I need to detox, and I'm here suffering with my jaw, with my ear, because the dentist really screwed up. It's like a big understatement. So even if you're trying to do all the things that you know that you can do, this is just the energy, and we need to deal with it. And I'm going to be glad whenever Mars is going to be crossing over the South Node, and it's going to do its release, and hopefully things will calm down then. But as soon as it jumps in Libra, I hate to say it, but Libra is the sign of peace, and it's going to make a very big kite pattern in the sky. It's going to make an opposition to Saturn. The first week of August is going to be intense as well, either way. So, but I'm going to make another video about the kite pattern as well, because it's actually important. So, what else? And Becca says Mars in Virgo may bring Trump demise or ousting. I don't know what's ousting, what it means, but I do know what demise means. And yes, I've touched very briefly on that in my new moon and full moon in Capricorn video, and also in my video about the conflict in the Middle East. Trump this year has a late Virgo rising, almost this exact same degree as my Virgo rising. So as soon as Mars hits the South Node, it will be on his rising sign of his solar chart, indicating troubles, aggression, health decline, inflammation. So yeah, very, very... It stands out to me that this is going to happen on the exact same degree of Trump, his solar return rising sign. So yeah, it will not be good for him as well. And Baron says Tensor Tech helps. Yes, I've heard about it. I'm trying all these different things. We just need to keep going. And Katie says, you're the best at deep dives. Thanks for doing the show while unwell. Well, thank you so much, Katie. I've like took some extra painkillers. I'm sweating so much. Luckily, you cannot see it, but my head and my pain is slightly okay right now. So another thing is, of course, Mercury Pluto. Yeah, August 11 is going to be a pretty important date, but the energy is already kicking off from July the 24th, because then we're going to have a new moon in the sign of Leo, exactly opposite Pluto. So a new moon in the sign of Leo at 2 degrees exactly opposing Pluto. That is going to be some kind of death of a leader. And it's already implicated about the full moon in Capricorn. Full moon, release, Capricorn, government, trining Mars and the South Node, release. And then 2 weeks later, we have now the new moon in Leo on the 24th of July, making an exact opposition with Pluto. So yeah, this is going to be the most intense new moon of the entire year. So yeah, be prepared for that on a collective level. Things might go a little bit haywire, especially with the Mercury retro. On a personal level, it can be about reclaiming your own power in a healthy way. And if you have been abusing your power, then you're going to get your ass smacked. But that's always the case whenever we have a Pluto, when we have a new or full moon aspecting with Pluto. So the Mercury Pluto, along with the Mercury retro and Leo, really is about Mercury retro is messing with my brain. It's about resurrecting things or stories that we thought were dead. And Pluto is also the planet of death. And like, think about the Epstein files, think about the P. Diddy legal updates, like, I'm happy I didn't focus too much on the whole P. Diddy trial, because I was kind of feeling it intuitive that, yeah, what happened just might happen. It's like, yeah, another evidence of a corrupt system. We're going to see way more about that with the Mercury retro, but it's going to echo these past themes of abuse, corruption, and also systemic cover-ups. And it's gonna resurface some unsealed records, some missing files, or maybe some new damning testimony. It is very, very likely with this Mercury retrograde that we're gonna see this, because this one is really an information reckoning. The fact that it opposes Pluto, and yeah, it really suggests that very powerful people are gonna be exposed. Leo is leadership, Pluto is death. And Pluto is in Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of the collective, of mass groups of people. So the collective is going to really respond in a very, very intense, dramatic way. And yeah, we're going to see some protests about we're going to see some new protests about what's going to be revealed during this time, for sure. So this is about secrets. Pluto is about hidden things, things that are lingering beneath the surface. So secrets are no longer going to stay buried. Mercury is going to grave everything up. It's going to, yeah, illuminate everything. It can be about children, the missing children. Sign of Leo rules children. Can also be about the abuse of fame and influence. Leo is celebrities, royals, leaders. Fame, recognition is all part of Leo, or people who are on stage, people who are very, very visible. So really watch the news. No, actually, no, don't watch the news, because it's crap anyway. Just like, this is my opinion. Like, the last couple of months, I have been like zoning out. I have been tuning out. Like, the news, it doesn't make you happy, and that is what they want. So yeah. Thank you so much, Inge, for the support. You guys are so sweet tonight. Like, oh my God, this is so kind of all of you. And Leo is also, yeah, so the news between July 20th and August the 11th, we're going to see some big mainstream media revelations. We can see some unexpected documents that will drop. Can be about unexpected settlements as well, especially around cases that we consider closed or final. retrogrades are these karmic loops, and the one is really bringing the unhealed truth back into the spotlight. That is what Pluto and a new moon in Leo are gonna do. So from the 24th of July, 2 weeks after, actually to the end of August, very, very big revelations about people in power who abuse it. And with Uranus now just entering Gemini, this Mercury retro is really wired into sudden technological failures and also shocking truths in the mainstream media. And look back at what happened to Outlook, or was it Hotmail? There was a big cyber attack. And this really like foreshadowed the digital chaos that we are about to see, because Uranus is shocks and cyber attacks. It's Uranus rules the internet. In Gemini, digital information. Gemini is also youth, and it's funny because it was actually a bunch of kids. There's actually some people who are still very, very young who like hacked Hotmail or Outlook. So yeah, they leaked documents or yeah, breaches and privacy or data. I do not know the full story, but that happened at the pre-shadow phase. And that's always, whatever happens at the pre-shadow phase is a very, very big indication of what will unfold during the retrograde. So we're going to see some scandalous info dumps, resistance to suppression, and also, yeah, it's going to come forward in the form of whistleblower leaks in the media. I think we're going to have a very, very big whistleblower leak with all this going on. Yeah, and also with Mars conjunct the South Node, of course, it can also be foreshadowing that very big companies are going to announce some kind of major layoff in their company as well. So I'm going to quickly read the comments. Becca says, exposure of the criminal double accounting system that the US government has been doing. Yeah, I really hope so, because, yeah, it's only the people in a high position of power who gain wealth by creating these systems that really corrupt everything. So, and Becca says, CUSIP and Autrotis accounting. I don't know what you're talking about, Becca, because I do not live in the States, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are watching from the US are going to know what this is about. So thank you for sharing. And Barno says XRP versus the SEC case. Yeah, well, I think we're going to see a big final breakthrough in that, but that will happen whenever Uranus jumps back into Taurus, and that will be from November the 8th until April the 26th. Somewhere in that time window, we can really see a final ending, and all the things regarding cryptocurrencies and CBDCs and digital ID and all of these things are going to come in the spotlight during the fall and the spring for the Northern Hemisphere. And yeah, XRP, yeah, it's yeah, I have a little bit of that, but yeah, a lot of people are very excited about that. So I hope you're all right, so I can, yeah, just cash out and disappear to some kind of island. I'm just kidding. I would never go to an island. I would be socially, I would be missing all of you guys to talk to. So, all right, next thing, let's go over some important dates. So, of course, June the 29th, Mercury entered the pre-shadow phase. So go back and watch this time very closely, because it previews what will unfold during the actual retrograde that's about to start. On July 17 is when the retrograde officially begins. While Mars is conjunct the South Node in Virgo, that's going to be active, indicating this collective frustration, leadership tension, and a karmic release around health, war, and employment. Then July the 24th, we have the new moon in Leo. So yeah, Sun and Moon opposed Pluto. Truths about power and public manipulation are going to emerge. So unexpected truths about corruption yet again. I think I've had enough of that. I'm like not waiting on that any longer. Just the system is a system, and like after everything that just happened with P. Diddy, like yeah, my faith in that being changed, the whole system, it is like melting by the day, but I need to stay positive, but I just don't want to care anymore. I want to like live a happy life, and just fixating on all these negative things, it just doesn't make you happy. So let's just meditate in the forest instead. Then on July the 31st, we're going to have the Mercury Sun Cazimi. So this is an important point in the cycle, because Mercury is going to get reborn into the heart of the Sun. It's a very good day for meditation, for breakthroughs, for journaling, and also for receiving some intuitive guidance. If you have been pondering on something, or if you have been waiting to really clear the air, on July the 31st, you can have a very big aha moment, something that gives you clarity. It can be a resolution to a lingering conflict. You can expect good news or some kind of breakthrough around the 31st of July. Then on August the 11th, Mercury stations direct, but it's only at August the 24th that Mercury leaves its post-shadow phase. So that is then completely completing the cycle. This Mercury retrograde is really getting the best of me, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. So it's only by the end of August that full forward momentum is going to return, and that we gain a lot of insights, a lot of clarity, and we can have a resolution to a long-standing problem, especially now with Uranus and Gemini really turning up the heat, and all these long-standing issues that are waiting to be solved, because all the answers are like in the ether. All the answers are actually in front of our face, but sometimes they're too close and we don't see them. So July the 31st and August the 24th, these are two time periods when you can be like, oh, wow, that's the answer I've been looking for such a long time. And it was here up in my face. So, okay. And Hannah de Klerk said, it's been 15 years since I've watched the news. that is actually great. And Inge also says, yes, Astrid, me too, because the news is just like, no, it's just draining my energy, and I need my energy for other things. So how to navigate? Don't panic. Prepare, back up your devices, avoid launching new ventures, and also rehearse before you need to perform something. But either way, big breakthroughs, especially for the fixed signs, if you're willing to rework and look into the past. And then what not to do is signing contracts, especially those that are tied to ego-driven decisions, launching new creative projects without a second opinion, making some impulsive changes to your hairstyle, to your appearance. Starting a new impulsive romantic relationship is not very advisable right now. And also avoid getting into public agreements, public arguments, and social media debates. Don't get lost in them. Things you can do to work with the energy is journaling about your self-worth and your self-expression. Journal about your pride, about your confidence, what can be, where there are some adjustments that can be made. Leo is, of course, about the heart. So you can do heart-centered meditations. You can also do solar plexus healing, and also reviewing, revising old projects, old contracts, old art, old hobbies that really made your heart sing. And also very wise to maybe do a social media detox to be able to fully reconnect with your authentic voice. And really use the Sun Mercury Cazimi on July the 31st as like a download day. Brainstorm. Some good ideas can come through during that time. So with that being said, I'm going to start with the 12 rising signs. I'm first going to drink some sugar so I don't drop off my chair. Okay, so if you don't know your rising sign, like the rising sign is the boss of the horoscope. First, look at your rising sign, and then you can check your sun sign. And if you want some more emotional insights, you can look at your moon sign as well. And oh my God, Becca, thank you so much. Love your work, always inspiring. Well, thank you so much, guys. Like, I was really like doubting if I would be able to do this video. I have been in bed for the last couple of days with like a wet towel on my head and some ice on my chin, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like switch the flip and get into it. And you guys have been so sweet and so supportive, so I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love all of you guys so much, so thank you, Becca. Okay, so find out your rising sign. You can do that by plugging in your birth details here, and then the first big black line is your rising sign. So with that being said, we're gonna start with my Aries, sun, moon, or rising. You're gonna have a Mercury retrograde in your 5th house of creativity, of pleasure, romance, and also self-expression. So the 5th house is the house of joy for you guys. So for everyone, but it's in its home sign of Leo in the 5th house, because you are an Aries rising and you have like the standard clock here for you guys. So think about old hobbies, think about forgotten passions, and even you guys are one of the signs that past lovers may actually return, because it's in the 5th house of love. They do, however, not always tend to stay, but it can happen. But they're going to show you what's still unresolved or still worthy of reimagining. So, a very powerful time to reignite your inner fire, especially through play, through artistic exploration, through heart centered expression. However, watch for ego clashes. Watch how you communicate. Maybe if it's too performative, people can be triggered by that. And also watch for romantic missteps that actually stem from not feeling heard. However, a great time to polish a creative project. Do not launch it until Mercury retrograde is over, and reflect on how you express love and also how you receive validation. Mercury rules also your 3rd house of communication and also your 6th house of health, work, and routines. So, tying all these themes directly into the retrograde story. So there can be misunderstandings at work, there can be tech issues in your personal life, but also at work there can be delays in the communication, and the delays in communication might stall productivity for a while, especially if your pride gets in the way. So it's also having an effect on your sibling dynamics, because it's ruling the 3rd house. 3rd house is also about cars, short trips. 6th house is about pets. Don't buy a new car right now. Don't get into an argument with a sibling because you feel too proud. Yeah, watch your pet, and yeah, maybe some other responsibilities, or like your productivity is gonna come back up for review. Mars is on the south node in the 6th. Avoid burnout and don't overcommit at work or in your fitness routines. Don't go over, because maybe you're feeling a little bit prideful and you want to do it anyway. It's actually, yeah, it's like I'm talking to myself right now, but okay. Instead, slow down and prioritize playful moments and also some creative rituals. It is your chance to refine your voice, rekindle joy, and also build a routine that really honors both your heart and your health. So good luck, my dear Aries, and let me know what's going on for you, because as a fellow Aries with Saturn going retrograde in our sign, yeah, it's been a lot, to be honest. So thank you so much, Katie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So good luck, my dear Aries. We have Taurus, sun, moon, or rising. You are gonna have Mercury retrograde in your 4th house of home, family, emotions, your roots, your ancestry. Yeah, it's really showing you a period of revisiting your roots that can be literal and emotional. Very powerful time to reflect on your living situation, on your family dynamics, and also what security means to you. So there can be some delays or miscommunications with parents, especially your mother. It can be with landlords, or maybe some roommates. That is all possible, especially if some old tension resurfaces. Some of you are going to think about home renovations, about reorganizing your space at home, or maybe revisiting family memories that still need some healing. Think about conversations with some family members that could be more emotionally charged than usual. So be mindful of your tone, of your pride, and be mindful of misunderstandings with the family. Mercury rules your second house of finances and also your fifth house of creativity, romance, and also children. So these things are getting weaved into the retrograde, and you're going to be reassessing spendings around the home, navigating financial tasks with loved ones, or maybe returning to creative ideas that once felt exciting but got shelved. Maybe you're going to get some off the shelf right now. Expect some delays with payments. If you be mindful of overspending on furniture purchases or issues involving some young people in the home. That could all pop up. So old lovers, romantic patterns may also be tied into your emotional roots and can also be resurfacing some memories from the past about that. So take time to ground yourself, rework your budget, and also reflect on what kind of environment truly supports your joy, and also avoid impulsive purchases. And also clarify agreements, especially around leases from the home, some kind of living arrangements or some childcare can all come up for you guys. So I wish you good luck, Taurus. We have Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have Mercury, your ruling planet, going retrograde in your third house of communication. So for you, my Geminis, this is a wild one because Mercury rules you, and Mercury traditionally rules the third house. So the fact that it's going retrograde in your third house is going to have a lot of impact for you guys. Third is about transportation, about learning, local environments, short distance trips, going with your car. My dear Gemini, if you're planning a trip in the next 3 weeks and you're gonna drive a short distance with your car, do a checkup before you leave. Check the tires, check your oil, check your gas. Something could be delayed in traveling with your car right now. Hopefully your car doesn't break down. And if you do need to buy a new car, please wait until the Mercury retrograde is over because, this is not the best time to do that. So the third is also how you express, how you talk, how you speak, how you write, how you teach, how you relate to your siblings, how you relate to your neighbors. And misunderstandings can pop up in everyday interactions and short-term travels, especially if your ego or your tone or your pride are too much involved. There can be some delays involving technology because the third house and Mercury are the daily gadgets we use in our daily life. So emails, texts, vehicles, technology, double check the details, avoid rushed decisions. But definitely a great time to revise your written work, revisit an old blog or an old journal, or maybe you can update your messaging if you want to rebrand yourself. You can put out something or create on releasing something in regards to email lists or blogs, podcasts, but do it after the retrograde is finished. Mercury, of course, rules you and your body, your identity, and also the fourth house of home, family, and roots. So this retrograde, it's about how you reflect on how your mind works and how your environment shapes your sense of self as well. So are you still aligned with how you want to be seen and heard? Some of you might be rethinking some home-related decisions as well. Some of you are going to consider some kind of move. Some of you are going to revisit some old family dynamics, or some of you are going to ponder about the current dynamic in your household. Mars is going to hit the south node in your sixth house, so very important to release mental clutter. And also maybe avoid Mars is going to conjunct the south node in the fourth house. Sorry, I missaid that, dear Mercury retrograde. So Mars hitting the south node in the fourth house, it's about your home, something gets released inside of the home. You can release emotional clutter as well. You can also, something in the home maybe comes up, maybe a heated debate, maybe some frustrations from the past in regards to your home, family, the mother, the people you live with together can really come up and be released, especially during the 20th of July. So next week, actually, already. So be prepared for that. You're going to rethink all the dynamics inside of your home. And also, really don't sign anything. If you need to sign anything right now, it might need to be relooked at later, or some changes are going to be necessary, because Mercury in the third house, it's about contracts as well. Can be about contracts inside of the home that get released. That is like just entering my mind as I'm speaking, because Mars conjunct the South Node on the fourth house, can be about something on paper that gets a big release, because the frustrations can flare up inside of the home as well. Can also be frustrations about home renovations as well. So it all depends on your own personal chart. If Mars makes good aspects like a trine, you can like really put your energy inside of the home and complete renovation tasks. But if Mars makes a square in your natal chart, then it can get very loud inside of the home and you can be roaring for sure. So be mindful about that, and release frustrations in regards of your home. Otherwise, your mind will be on fire. So good luck, my dear Gemini. Then we have Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have Mercury retrograde in the second house of money, income, resources, values, and your self-esteem. And it's going to ask you to reevaluate your budget, your financial strategies, and also your personal priorities, and also how you look at your own self-worth. That is going to come up, and how your self-worth is tied to your money situation as well. So it's actually about your relationship to abundance. So you might notice some financial delays, maybe some misplaced receipts, or the need to revisit some past agreements, or some budgets, or some strategies in regards to your budget needs to be revisited. Not the time to make a large purchase. You can have a big bill that comes up. Not the time to open a new account at the bank, not the time to sign some very strict binding financial contracts. Instead, reflect on your current earning structures. Are they still sustainable? Are they still aligned with my core values? You might also reconnect with some old ideas, or some old jobs, or old ways that could help you stabilize your income, how you did it before. So Mercury also rules your third house of communication, contracts, vehicles, and also the 12th house of spirituality, your subconscious, and things that are happening behind the scenes. So there can be some hidden details or some overlooked financial errors that come to light. Investigate where unconscious beliefs around lack, fear, or unworthiness, or feeling undeserving might be shaping your material world, and something can shift in that. You can have very intuitive nudges, especially when you dream. So write down and journal about your dreams for sure. Or you can have some insights about your money situation in the quiet moments. And it's going to point you to the root of financial self-sabotage. And also, with Mars conjunct the South Node in your third house, tech and transportation issues could unexpectedly cost you more. Something with your car or your bike, or the way how you move, can fall apart, can overheat. Be mindful of, but if you have an electric car, maybe best to not park it inside of your home during the next few weeks, or be more mindful about something that can break, something can get inflamed. Definitely when you're charging it. Also backup data, review your spending patterns, and also avoid unnecessary risks in regards to money. The clarity will return, but it will be by late August. So maybe you will need to budget a little bit, or look at a new strategy in regards to finance. So good luck, my dear Cancer. Then we have Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are gonna have, of course, Mercury retrograde in your sign. So you guys are the stars of the show, but you're always that. So you're always a star of the show either way. So the first house, it's about making, yeah, it's gonna make this one like very, very personally, very significant. The most influential Mercury retrograde of the year for you guys because it's in your sign. So the first is your appearance, your self-image, your body, your mindset, also your voice. Of course, you're a Leo, you know how to roar, but it's gonna really push you to redefine how you present yourself to the world. Also, a time for introspection, big recalibration, and a big refinement is going to come for you guys. It's about old insecurities. It's about letting go of these outdated identities. Maybe some of you are going to change your style of clothes, but do that after the retrograde is over. You might also find that you're going to second guess some decisions or some. Maybe you're gonna want to send someone a message, and you're constantly gonna like re-edit it. You want to like be at your best when you send a message, or how you look, or how you're branding, and there can be some changes, and that being made. Blah, blah, blah. Mercury, oh my god, I'm like, all right, don't rush to reinvent everything overnight with this, because a lot of things can come up. Really use this time to listen more deeply to your own inner dialogue, and also let clarity emerge by August. Mercury also rules your second house of finances and self-worth, and also your 11th house of friendships, goals, and community. So the retrograde connects your identity to your values, your money, and also your social world. So you're going to be reevaluating what you truly want in terms of money and friendships, and the people in your network. And yeah, watch for some tension in that, or some miscommunications with friends, or maybe some online networks. If you need to work online with a bunch of people for your job, then yeah, there can be some tension or miscommunication happening in that as well. Especially have some shared plans, some interruptions, some delays, some frustration can come up for sure. Mercury is gonna opposite Pluto in your 7th house of relationships, more towards the 11th of August, and that really suggests that others are gonna challenge you, or you or your new direction, or maybe they're gonna mirror where pride or stubbornness is holding you back, or where you're too pride as well. So also be cautious with purchases and spending, especially if you're making some impulse purchases to really to feel seen and heard. Also, if you do make a large purchase right now, keep the receipts. Think twice about spending a lot of money, because Mars is conjunct the South Node in your 2nd house, squaring Venus in the 11th. Also, don't borrow money to friends. But also think that this is a powerful time to really polish your voice, your vision. But first, you might need to have a little cosmic pause and reflect and really realign with your own truth. And because Mercury retrograde is happening in your sign, my dear Leos, it's not just about communication glitches or tweaks in style and appearance. This is actually soul level recalibration of who you are becoming, and it really invites you to turn down the volume on all the external noise, and really listen to your inner voice, the one that speaks from your heart, and not out of habit. It's really a chance to rewrite the story that you tell yourselves about your own identity, about your own worth, and also about your place in the spotlights. So yeah, there can be some moments that you will be confronted with a little bit of doubt or uncertainty, maybe some public hiccups, or maybe some misunderstandings that can make you doubt yourselves. But yeah, these moments are not here to defeat you. They are actually meant to humble and refine you, so you can actually rise with more authenticity and a greater power and more strength. So yeah, let this retrograde really be a return to the radiance that really comes from knowing yourself deeply and not wanting to be validated and wanting to be seen. This is a time to see yourself. So good luck, my dear Leo. We have Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have Mercury retrograde. And Mercury is, of course, your ruling planet as a fellow Virgo Rising. And let me know how you guys are doing and with your health and at your job. And just tell me what's going on. Because for me as a Virgo Rising, it's been a big mess. So, yeah. Mercury, your chart ruler. It rules, of course, you, your first house, your identity, but also your career, the 10th house, your public image, your own business. And it's going to go retrograde through your 12th house. The house that dissolves everything, the house that is beyond your grasp, beyond your control, the house of rest, the house of dreams, spirituality, endings, mental health, and also unconscious patterns. So, yeah. This one is less about outer action and more about inner cleansing. And yeah, you might feel mentally foggy. Like I've been really battling with brain fog due to my infection here, but you might need to take some more rest. You need to take a closer look at your health. Be careful for burnout, for overdoing it. I know you guys are very, very strict and tough on yourself. You might need to take better care of yourself during this time. This is a time to be more introspective and even a time to try to be emotionally detached from everything that's happening with your health and with your work. It is like beyond your control. There's nothing you can do. You can only rest. You're being like called to pull back from the world temporarily and really review what's quietly been building beneath the surface in your subconscious as well. It can be about old fears, about regrets, about unprocessed grief, especially around your career path. Can also be tied to your public perception, or maybe you're going to ponder about missed opportunities. That can all rise right now, and it's not to haunt you. It's actually a chance to get healing in that. So it's a very potent time to really tap into your dreams. Do some meditative practices, and also these subtle insights, they're going to guide you towards a new vision in your professional life. And I think some Virgo risings are in a great need of that right now. So your Mercury retro is actually a period of psychic decluttering. Mars is going to conjunct the South Node in you guys' first house. Really, it's going to push you and urge you to shed these outdated roles and ways of being, especially tied to your career as well. And Mars, of course, rules the 8th house, so can be a quite deep, painful, introspective period. Can bring up a lot of fears and the need for perfection needs to be released. Your mind can go a little bit haywire. Mars rules the 8th house, is a very deep and intense house, and it's conjunct in the South Node in your sign. Some past inflammation can resurface. Some past, how do you say it in English? If you've hurt or bruised or sprained something in the past, if you're going to work out and overdo it right now, you're going to bruise or sprain it again. So be careful about old injuries that can resurface as well during the Mars South Node conjunction. And also, some of you are going to feel a little bit more quieter than usual, maybe less willing to speak up, maybe more tempted to avoid conflict. But don't confuse reflection with avoidance, because some truths must be faced, especially around burnout, around self-sabotaging habits, or new career goals that actually, or your current career goals that actually no longer align with your soul's direction. 12th house is about hidden enemies, can be literal, also symbolic, or in the astral realm as well. And it could also actually particularly include your own inner critic. So prioritize rest, solitude, healing, journaling, therapy, and don't launch anything new until the Mercury retro ends and it stations direct in mid-August. Oh my god, April. Mid-August, and you might need some extra sleep or some time away from the public eye to actually fully process the emotional and physical downloads that are going to come through. And if it's possible, retreat now to realign later with purpose and with clarity. So take good care of yourselves, my dear Virgo rising. And hi, Claudia. Thank you for joining. We have Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Mercury is going to go retrograde through your 11th house. So it's putting the spotlight on your friendships, on your social circles, on your group affiliations, on your future dreams and visions. So really a time to reassess your place in your own community. How do you feel in your own group of friends? Reflect on who you align with. Reflect on your like-minded people and on those who do not reflect the same vision. Some are going to be cut off because Mars conjunct the South Node in the 12th house can be about hidden enemies and having fights with them. But Mercury retro in the 11th house, it can also be time to really reassess your friendships, but also old friends or past collaborators, or maybe some long abandoned group projects might suddenly resurface. Maybe you're going to bump into a friend from the past. It's going to be a direct reconnection. So can also offer you a chance to find closure with an old friend. So this retrograde is definitely going to bring up some misunderstandings in group settings, or they can also signal a shift in your long-term goals. So especially if you're realizing that your ideals no longer match the company that you're in. So there can be some events or plans with groups that could be delayed or disrupted. Especially some drama and friendship, social gatherings, retreats, conferences, networks. And if you're building an audience or if you're creating content, use this time to really refine your message. Do not broadcast it loudly just yet. Wait until the Mercury retro is over if you're not sure about it. I don't want you guys to be timid or anything like that. No. But Mercury also rules the 9th and the 12th house in your guys' chart. And the 9th is about higher knowledge, education, publishing, travel, beliefs. And the 12th is about hidden matters, your intuition, and also spiritual reflection, the unconscious, things that happen beyond your grasp. So you might even find yourself rethinking your spiritual philosophy and questioning what you actually really believe about the world. You can also experience strong dreams and also intuitive hits that really guide your direction forward and gain forward momentum in that after the retro is over. And it could actually really, some travel delays, some confusion, around all the themes that I just mentioned can occur, especially if it involves with a group trip or a retreat or something like that. So very powerful window to really reflect on what you're broadcasting to the world versus what you're holding deep inside. So trust your instincts, but don't forget to check the details twice, especially when you're signing up for some courses or entering some new community, or if you want to publish something, or if you have a travel planned, and also really clarify expectations in group dynamics, and also choose only communities that actually really truly resonate with your evolving truth within, that you're gonna rediscover right now. So good luck, my dear Scorpio. And Conan says, my rising point is exactly the cusp between Leo and Virgo, and I have to say your points hit home. I am fairly visible character where I live, and I find myself wanting to hibernate. Wow. So You're probably a 0-degree Virgo rising, like a 0 degree. It is very, very potent. It is like infinite. It has a lot of energy to it. Some astrologers say that the 0 point has no energy. I do not believe that. 0 point is a very critical point, and yeah, it can go either way. But it's a new energy that you have in this lifetime, and 0 degree is something new that you like need to learn to work with in this lifetime. So yeah, if you feel the need to hibernate, really do that if you can. Take some rest and write down your dreams. And Patti Kupa says, Leo Sun and Sagittarius rising. Wow, double fire. That is feisty and I love it. We have Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have Mercury retrograde happening in your 10th house of career, your authority, your reputation, your boss, your father, people in authority, all happen or all fall in the 11th house. And they can be quite loud with your 10th house being in the sign of Leo. So, but the Mercury retrograde is going to put the spotlight on your professional path, and it's going to do that in a square to your sun, moon, or rising. So there can be some hiccups for sure, but you have something to look back on because you've just went through a Mars retrograde in Leo from December until February. So this might feel like something from that time pops back up again. So yeah, really think back to December until February if something important happened and something can be resolved in that now. So yeah, this timing right now is actually about rethinking your role in the outside world. The 10th house is very visible, very public. So the retrograde can definitely bring some career slowdowns. Can also bring some miscommunication with your boss. Can also be some delays in projects that you put out to the public. And for some of you Scorpios, some former job or professional connection might reappear. Maybe they're going to offer you a second chance or they're going to offer you some closure, but be mindful of how you present yourself publicly right now. And avoid launching new ventures or avoid committing to big changes until Mercury goes direct. This is really the time to reassess your long-term ambitions, clean up your image, rework your professional goals from the inside out. And Mercury also rules your 8th house of finances and also your 11th house of friendships. So really, yeah, creates a very powerful revision of your career. Your networks can be about money as well. Old financial agreements, business collaborators, business with friends, can be something can be released in all of these areas. And also, yeah, it's also about shared resources and issues in that. Something might need your attention. Something might need your attention in shared resources. And you might also be redefining your social role within a team, or maybe you're going to separate from some professional alliances that no longer align with your values. So Mars on the south node, Mercury opposite Pluto. Mercury, this retrograde, is going to opposite your chart ruler, while Mars is also on the south node, which is your traditional chart ruler. So yeah, might be a little bit more intense Mercury retrograde for my dear Scorpios. It's about power struggles, can be about sudden changes in leadership, and that can all really shake up your work environment right now. So maybe you're going to want to step in a more authoritative role as well yourself, or maybe you want to let go of people-pleasing dynamics at work. This retrograde, it is about reclaiming your voice, refining your ambition, and also learning to communicate with people in authority, and also communicate with clarity under pressure. Very big career transformation is underway. So go inward right now about that, and you're going to come out stronger later, like you always do. You always rise like a phoenix, my dear Scorpios. So good luck. And thank you so much, Patti Kupo, Your daughter is a Scorpio. Oh, well, yeah. That is, yeah, Scorpio is the most intense sign of the zodiac. I do love Scorpios, however, yeah, you don't mess with the Scorpio. And that is a quality I really, really like. And you just have such a, yeah, X-ray vision. And they have such a bullshit barometer as well. They have like an inner lie detector. Scorpios are very, very cool. And I think a lot of people have a wrong view or opinion about Scorpios. It's because Scorpio tends to trigger it tends to triggers people's demons, and maybe yeah, of course, if a Scorpio is unbalanced, then they can inflict a lot of hurt. Mostly Scorpios are very, very wise and deep, so good luck. We have Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have Mercury retrograde in the ninth house. And actually, the ninth house is a domain that is naturally attuned to you. It's about higher education, travel, publishing, legal matters, your belief systems, and also like the wiser, broader quest for truth. So the retrograde is a time to reassess what you believe in and what you're studying, where you're heading next, your look on the future, literally, philosophically, all falls into the ninth house, but you're very, very attuned to that energy. So I think this one will go well for you. You're gonna revisit plans to travel abroad. Maybe some of you are gonna return to school, finish a school project, dive into an old subject about higher education, and yeah, getting some philosophical books off the shelf. You can reconnect with an old mentor. You can even publish something that got on the shelf as well. So yeah, there can, however, be delays with long distance journeys. I would not travel to a new faraway country. If I were to travel as a Sag rising, I would do it to a country that I've already been before. That is gonna lessen the more negative impact of this Mercury retrograde. So there can be some delays with visas, some delays with academic matters as well. Really double check documentation, your idea, your travel initiary, all things like that. And if you're dealing with some legal transitions, that can be marriage, that can be graduation, that can be divorcing someone, that can be just a conflict that needs court, there are going to be some revisions or some unexpected turns happening in that. So the retrograde is really, it's urging you to slow down. Don't give up in these areas, but ask yourself, does this align with who I am becoming? Mercury rules your seventh of committed partnerships, and also your 10th house of your own career, and also your public image. So this retrograde is going to deeply affect your relationship and your professional life. And you're going to have a whole belief, your belief system is going to have a whole shift in those matters as well. So yeah, shifts in romantic, business partnerships. It could stem from maybe having a different view on philosophy or on long-term goals, and there can be some miscommunication happening in that. There can also be conversations about marriage, about contracts, and yeah, you might need to have some patience before you gain clarity in those. For some Sag or Sag risings, your relationship status can change because Mars is conjunct the South Node in the 10th house. Something might be released. There can be a very big change in your career. There can also be sudden decisions about relocating. Can be abroad, can also be about studying abroad and having to relocate for that. And with Uranus activating your 7th house, really expect the unexpected in regards to love and marriage and just in how other people show up. Some of you are going to need to renegotiate what partnership truly means to you, and it's not a time to rush into new commitments, rush into some legal agreements. Really reflect on your values, your belief system, your limiting beliefs, and also what you're willing to stand for in both love and leadership in your career. So realign your path with deeper truth, even if it means a temporary detour. So let me know what happens for you, my dear Sagittarius, and I wish you good luck. So then we have Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. What's up, Capricorn? How are you doing with the full moon in Capricorn that we just had? The Saturn retrograde in your fourth house of home and family. Let me know how you guys are doing. So this Mercury retrograde is gonna go through your eighth house. And this is a biggie because it is a very deep and emotionally charged sector in your chart that rules your shared finances, taxes, debts, alimony, inheritance, insurance policies. It's also a very deep psychological house. It's about psychological healing. It's about fears in the eighth house. It's about real, true, deep intimacy. It's about your emotional, psychologically, and financial entanglements with other people. In the seventh house, you marry. In the eighth house, you decide who pays for what, who does the dishes, how much do I go shopping, how much do we sleep together, all happens in the eighth house. So it's like a deeper step in marriage after the seventh. So yeah, true intimacy is found in the eighth house. So it's a highly transformative retrograde for you. It's going to really offer you a chance to revisit all these past financial entanglements that you've made. You're going to need to maybe address some emotional trust issues. Maybe you need to renegotiate your terms and joint agreements, which I've just mentioned a few of them. You might also be dealing with delays in receiving payments, especially if it's about insurance coverage, if it's about unresolved issues with loans, can also be about estate matters. And if you're navigating divorce settlements, or maybe some alimony, child support, spousal support, all these things can come up during this retrograde. And yeah, this period really asks you to tread carefully and review the fine print, read the small little letters, take notion of the details, because it's easy to miss and slip up in this time. And yeah, it can also be, because it's the eighth house, about secrets or some unspoken resentments, especially in close, deep, intimate relationships. All these things can be triggered and are going to come to the surface. And it doesn't want to destruct everything. It wants to clean and heal, and it requires deeper honesty. Mercury is about communication. So, yeah, some secrets might definitely come up, or things that you haven't noticed before that are gonna suddenly become very, very obvious. You're gonna need to act on those feelings, on those emotions. The eighth house, whenever a planet goes into the eighth house, it goes to hell and back. It like resurrects. And yeah, it's not always easy having something going on in the eighth house. But Mercury, of course, also rules your sixth house of work and your daily service towards other people. And it also rules your ninth house of education, your beliefs. And the ninth house is also legal matters. That's why I've talked about divorce and all of these things, because Mars conjunct the South Node in the ninth house, yeah, can definitely come up for a few Capricorn risings. Like, I'm not saying for everyone, but yeah, legal matters can be causing a lot of frustration and headache and stress, actually. So, but because Mercury rules also the ninth, this retrograde really links everything to broader life and inner recalibration. And the ninth house is a very philosophical house, and it's about your belief systems. And yeah, you might face some changes in your status, in your job status, some changes if you need some money from an insurance coverage. You're going to encounter some delays in travel, especially if it's a faraway country, if it's long distance travel. If you're applying for an academic funding, there can be some delays in that as well. And if you're dealing with healthcare, this could also be a time of revisiting some diagnosis. It would be important to get a second opinion if you're dealing with something like that. Could also be an uncovering the emotional roots of physical problems. And on a deeper soul level, it can also really push you to confront your fear of vulnerability, your fear of loss, and your fear of financial instability. Mercury is gonna trigger all of them. You might need to examine how these fears are actually impacting your work or your daily routine, and also how how much it's influencing your belief system, because it's connected to the 6th and the 9th house, like I've just mentioned. So trust that even if progress feels very slow, as a Capricorn rising, you're very responsible, you're very stable, you're very bereend. You're very, very, you're taking slow steps, and you really like feeling things out. So, but just know that the retrograde is actually paving the way for long-term emotional and financial empowerment. Whenever these 3 weeks are going to be over, within 3 weeks, you're going to gain so much clarity, and things that you have been doubting about for a really long time, you can have a lot of clarity, even on the 31st of July already. And then by the middle of August, you're going to make some kind of choice in regards to all of these matters that I've just mentioned. So also know that there are supportive trines to Saturn, which is about grounding, inside of the home as well. So yeah, use this time to review your budgets, clear old debt, and also explore deeper patterns around intimacy, vulnerability, and your need for control. So yeah, it's gonna be a feisty one. And you guys, as a Capricorn rising, you have Leo at the 8th house cusp. So the 8th house is such a deep, intense house. And then you have Leo, the sign of Leo, in the 8th house, which is very loud, is very, very feisty, is very, very, sexy as well. Leo is about love, money, dating, children. And it's all tied into your 8th house of deep vulnerability, trust, and making a deep bond. It's soul bonding in the 8th house. So yeah, luckily it's sextiling Venus in your 6th house. Venus in the 6th can be women at work that help you with all of this, or finding love at work, or finding a deep bond at work, or something about colleagues, or bumping into some kind of female on a daily basis in your daily routine that can help you with all of these matters. So, all right, my dear Capricorn, let me know what's up, and I wish you the best of luck. We have Aquarius, and hey, Nathalie, goedenavond. And Katty says, nothing's going smooth at the moment. Here I am, Capricorn rising, Sun, and Aquarius. Oh, that's so cool, Katty, that you can listen to both signs and they're directly behind one another. That's so cool. Okay, so Katty, it is your time, my dear Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Mercury is going to go retrograde through your 7th house of one-on-one relationships. So yeah, very pivotal period for reassessing how you relate, how you connect, and also how you communicate with others, especially your romantic partners, your business collaborators, your clients, close one-on-one friendships. It's going to bring some kind of relationship revisit, and an old flame might resurface. So yeah, you're one of the signs where you can really bump into an ex to find closure or to reignite that flame. There can also be some kind of stalled negotiation that is going to come up again, or you could also be rethinking a current commitment that you're in right now. And if there's been some tension since Mars retrograde earlier this year, or some communication breakdowns around late June to early July, then yeah, this retrograde is going to help you revisit and potentially repair some dynamics that got broken. But yeah, things might feel a bit dramatic, very prideful, very ego-laced, especially other people. Other people can actually have a very big ego towards you right now. Leo is very fiery, very expressive, very bold, very direct, but their ego is easily bruised. And you might notice that in other people. You might trigger them. So yeah, with Pluto in your sign, my dear Aquarius, be very, very careful that you don't trigger people's pride or ego in the wrong way, because Pluto in your sign is really transforming you right now. And yeah, you're going through a very big death and rebirth, because Pluto, yeah, in your sign, but it happens in the background. Pluto is a very slow moving planet. It takes some time, but you're like changing up your whole identity right now and your appearance, and people are really, really, yeah, they can be quite triggered by that. So be careful. Don't go out there triggering people consciously. It's not going to end well with this one. Avoid pushing for clarity too soon with other people as well, and let the dialogue unfold over time. Mercury rules also your fifth house of love, and also your eighth house of intimacy, shared finances, and emotional merging. So the fifth house is also creativity and children, and in the eighth house is a very, very deep house. It's about soul bonds, the eighth house. And Mars is conjunct the South Node. Be extra careful, dear Aquarius, that you don't suffer any money loss regarding another person. Maybe some of you, my dear Aquariuses, some of your partners they can lose some kind of money during this time. Don't be mad at them. Don't trigger their bruised ego. This is in the stars. Maybe it's meant to happen. So if that comes up, just know that it's just one of the downfalls of Mars in the 8th. So if your partner asks you money right now, just say no. So you won't be able to lose it. So there's a big, deeper dimension to the retrograde. You're not only reworking partnerships, but you're also being asked to reflect on emotional vulnerability, on creativity, on trust issues, and also on what you're truly willing to share with others. It can be your heart, be your resources, your ideas. Expect some conversations about some expectations in shared resources, in sexuality, in emotional availability, shared finances, but I think I've already mentioned that, can also about finances and children. All these things are going to take center stage. And a good side of Mars in the 8th is if you have some issues, you can work it out in the bedroom. And in the bedroom, some big frustrations can be released in bedroom. That is the positive side of Mars in the 8th. So don't give your partner money if they feel frustrated. Just throw them onto the bed. And that is a much better way to deal with this energy. So Mercury is also going to move towards a sextile with Uranus in the 4th, or is it in the 5th? Excuse me, Uranus in the 5th sextile. It's going to go, and it's also sextile Venus in the 5th. So yeah, actually good for romance. Definitely lovers from the past. When you have a Mercury retro in the 7th house of marriage, and sextiling that with Venus in the 5th house of love, Uranus entering the 5th house of joy and love, something is going to happen in regards to dating, flirting, attraction. Some unexpected attraction can pop up, can be someone from the past, but it doesn't necessarily need to be with Uranus newly entering the 5th house. So the story is unfolding. Use this time to rebuild, to trust, to listen, and also to allow surprising revelations. to shape this whole new chapter in your partnerships, whether that's romantic or professional. So let me know what happens for you, my dear Aquarius. And Kati says, haha, where is the love? Well, I think in the next 3 weeks, you're gonna revisit that, you're gonna think about that, and maybe you can unexpectedly bump into someone. But with Uranus entering the 5th house, that person can be quite eccentric, quite unconventional, erratic. Can be a person with ADD, with his mind is like all over the place. It can be a genius. That is also a trait of Uranus, and especially, yeah, you are an Aquarius. Uranus is your ruling planet, so the fact that it's entering the 5th house of joy, love, children, attraction, chemistry, yeah, can come very, very unexpected and very out of the blue. So enjoy, my dear Aquarius. Then we have Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have a Mercury retrograde happening in the 6th house of health. Daily routines, wellness, your work environment, service towards others, colleagues, pets, rental houses are all in the 6th house. And yeah, when Mercury goes retro here, it's a big signal to reorganize your daily routine, to reset, to reprioritize, and also to reassess your productivity. So there can be some confusion at work, some confusion with coworkers, miscommunications. There can be some scheduling going wrong, something that throws you out of balance, something that disrupts your flow in your daily life. There can be some health issues, some that you thought were resolved that can resurface, especially if you've been overworking. And also, if you have something popping up with your health, you need to seek clarity, and you're probably not going to get that with this Mercury retrograde. You might need to wait until the retrograde ends, and you might need to get a second opinion. But it is a good time to really revisit your wellness habits. Maybe you need to recommit to a better sleeping routine. Maybe you might need to change your diet. Maybe you need to go to a gym that you've been before. Maybe you need to reconnect with a practitioner, someone that helped you in the past that can help you now with new problems. Luckily, Mercury loves the 6th house. Mercury likes order, it likes rhythm. So while all these things might feel a bit chaotic right now, the deeper message is really to get organized and to also stop sacrificing your well-being for others. And if you're not going to listen to that, you're going to have a shakeup in your health. Mercury also rules the 4th house of home and family, and also the 7th house of relationships. And yeah, it is going to highlight maybe some stress around managing multiple obligations, especially when it comes to loved ones, partners, or your family. You might also find that it's a little bit hard to balance your home responsibility with demands at work. You might also feel a bit unsupported by others during this time, because Mars is going to conjunct the South Node in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. So yeah, it might reveal burnout from doing too much alone, or maybe your partner is giving you stress. That is also a possibility. Yeah, there can be some miscommunications in the relationships, and they are going to stem from feeling overburdened or underappreciated. Important for you to speak up, to set clearer boundaries, and to ask for help whenever you need to. This retrograde is going to teach you how you need to delegate, how you need to restructure your own space, and you might need to bring in some others to help you with that. An assistant, therapist, someone else maybe in your home, and also, yeah, support your body. And if you're supporting your body, and if you strengthen your space, that's going to give you a lot of emotional clarity. So yeah, Pisces, slow down, declutter, and also restore the rhythm of your own life and your day-to-day activities. So Laura says, thank you, Astrid, and all the best of your health. help. Veel beterschap. Dankjewel, Katty. And hi, Laura. So glad you're here. Yeah, watching the replay. And I'm sending a lot of hugs and love your way. And Natalie says, Oni, and it is not. Oh no, it's just a summer holiday, and I'm very very busy, so I'm gonna need to plan in some me time. Yes, definitely, Natalie. Take some time, unwind, don't get overburdened, and ask your partner to help you whenever you need to. And Laura says, stress never. Well, I'm a Virgo rising. Stress is my middle name, so I'm happy for you, Laura, that you don't have stress. But okay, yeah, I guess that was it for today. Yeah, Mercury retrograde is gonna spiral backwards in the lines then. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one for sure. Thank you guys all so much for being here. Thank you for all the support that I've received during this making this video. I will need to take some rest right now, as you can hear that I'm actually pretty tired, but I was so happy to connect with all of you. And I'm gonna do my Uranus for the 12 signs, Uranus in Gemini for the 12 signs pretty soon. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do it this week, and otherwise it will be next week. And then the next video will be the July new moon in Leo opposite Pluto. So yeah, brace yourselves. The intensity is gonna step up a notch. So I'm wishing you all the best. I'm wishing you a good morning, evening, night, wherever you all are. And Lakeside Laura says go sailing. Well, the problem is that with my jaw and my ear infection, sailing right now, yeah, it's not really possible for me because I'm too dizzy and too worn out, but hopefully I will get it under control quite soon. So yeah, I'm just happy that I did it. I really doubt it, and I'm happy that I did it tonight. So sending all a lot of love, peace, and hugs your way. And see you soon, Laura and everyone else. Thank you so much for joining. Bye-bye.